Hello and welcome, everyone. On this special episode of the Galactic Family Podcast, we welcome the extraordinary Consuelo, founder of the Balancevolution and true pioneer of holistic healing and multidimensional awareness. With a background in quantum healing hypnosis, rapid transformational therapy, and karmic release work. Consuelo helps individuals tap into their past lives, unlocking their soul's potential and connecting with higher dimensional beings. Her unique journey began with a vivid past life memories at age 15 and has since evolved into a life devoted to spiritual transformation and interdimensional healing. Join us as we explore the space where soul, memory, consciousness, and galactic wisdom meet. This is Balance Evolution on the Galactic Family Podcast. How are you doing, ma'am?
Thank you. Thank you for the beautiful presentation, by the way, Jay. I'm doing fine. And again, thank you for inviting me to be part of your podcast. I really love, like you, sharing information and empower people. I think we have the same goal, helping people to understand better how to be more empowered and also feel with their inner voice. Don't depend on other people. They need to learn how to be enough independent to understand more about the true themselves, the true gift that everybody has in a way or another. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Can you share a bit of your early life? What led you to the path of holistic healing?
So I was born an empathic. In fact, my mom remember at the age of 2, I had a premonition dream, and I saw my father covered by blood, and he died a few weeks after, by the way, in a car accident because he had his hobby to be a race, to do race with car, pilot race. He was an entrepreneur, young, 32, and he got killed in this when he tried this car. So and from that point, I think I always felt different from other. And thankfully, my mom was very open minded and she never questioned me much, but she saw me struggle because I was picking up information for people without knowing. And, probably because if somebody didn't have any kind of reaction, I never remember. But I remember a couple of times when I was very young to say something to people, the people looking like, because I saw them like, who are you? I
Yeah.
remember their face. I thought, okay, what did I say wrong? Maybe I say, oh, you're a single child. And they're like, how do you know this? So I will say stuff that I don't remember. So, but at the age of 15, I finally had the access to this kind of method that helped me to do this kind of create a laboratory in my mind and travel if I need to travel or bring in people inside this laboratory and help them. And what's happened, everybody else was having this really nice, enjoy the nature, look around, see the tree, the flowers, stuff like that. In a meditation, we're guided to do this. And suddenly I see these movies and I thought, what is this? So the beginner, I thought, okay, maybe it's my fantasy, maybe because I was 15, I thought maybe I'm young. But little by little, every time I see something, I recognize some people that I already know in this lifetime. And I thought, okay. And I asked a question about what do you think about this period of time, this life, oh, I always love to be a samurai. Oh, I love, and they started to tell me, think like, okay. And, I start to connect the dots, what I'm
Okay.
saying. But what is amazing is it's like when people ask me how do you do, it's like watching a movie. Sometimes you are the actor, sometimes you're just outside watching the movie. So it's very interesting. It can be in a two different way,
Okay.
but doesn't matter, you know. So and I started in this funny way. When I remember in fact, I'm writing my book right now. I don't know if it's going to be published, but I'm working on this. And the first image was me as a woman stepping into this, stones. I remember like a stone, really, and going inside this beautiful big wooden door with an ancient key in my hands. And I put this key, and I know it was my house, was my, you know, and I look
Yeah.
around, I saw people, and I can smell stuff, I can see them, like a everyday life. and this cobblestone narrow street. And I can tell you, I felt like I was in Tuscany.
Huh.
Elvis. And one guy stopped by and say, oh, I say my greeting to your mother. And I answered him back in this kind of dialect that I have no clue about to know. And
Hmm.
so I opened my eyes because I was like, how do I know how to speak this dialect? It was so funny, you know. So this was my first time. I thought, okay, I can do this. And, you know, the good about being a teenager is if you have occasion, like I did with this kind of method, you feel like everything is possible. And this is what changed my perception.
So those first memories is what shaped your sense and, made your spiritual path the way it
Yes.
was.
And you know, when you feel like you can do everything is powerful. And we are teenager. And so I think what a lot of teenagers missing now is to have something that supports them in their path and understand that nothing is wrong with you. You're just connecting to some of your skill, some of your intuition, some of your memory for other lifetime. You know,
Yeah.
so if you feel different gender, or if you feel like a cat, maybe you're connected to the lion people from Lyra. It doesn't supposed to be that you're going to be a cat again in this lifetime because you choose to have a human body. Otherwise, you're born like a cat. But it's a memory that you carry from another reality. So I believe a lot of times people start to connect more and understand more what is really going on with them. They will have more clarity in this reality. Makes sense what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, it does. That makes a lot of sense. Like when you were going through this, were there specific like lifetimes that stood out to you or were important to your mission?
What I realize, the soul, because it starts, so the memory is in your cells, not just in your soul. Sometimes it's in your physical
Okay.
body. I'm not kidding.
So it's like
Sometimes it's,
encoded into your very
yes,
being.
exactly.
Okay.
So, and what I notice is the memory that you remember easier is the memory that are more with a big impact, like emotional impact. So you are killed in certain way, you suffer, you fell in love and you are crazy about this person. So when you have this big emotion, I think is why you remember more this lifetime.
Hmm.
Because there is a lot of big impact in your soul and you carry so much emotion about that reality, that moment.
So
The
is it just a shock of it, like the
Yes,
emotional shock that brings it
yes.
out? Okay.
It can be in a positive way or is something more strong, more
Okay.
traumatic, but you have this memory because it really, you know, I call some lifetime that I call the bench lifetime, where you sometimes you reincarnate because you are part of a soul group. And so it's the deal to reincarnate together so you can support others to their
Okay.
own path. So you just assisting them. You have a nice life, but you're bored, you leave, you go to a job, you know, you do stuff and you come back. So it's like sometimes I feel like some of this lifetime you don't have a big memory because they don't carry any particular emotions. So
Yeah.
it's why there are different type of lifetime we spend and we have a different memory of them.
Hmm.
Okay. So, and to me, it was so important to see myself doing something very bad to other people or thinking I'm gonna save a village or people and do some mistake. I fell asleep if I was a soldier on the door of this palace or in this kind, or I
Yeah.
was a scientist and I did something very wrong, thinking I'm gonna save everybody. It was so important because when you see also the shadow, if you want to call it, the part of you that did something big and huge and impact a lot of other people, you start to be more compassionate about the people in this lifetime can do something very bad.
Okay.
And
I
so,
got you.
and plus one thing, imagine somebody is a racist and he found out that, oh my gosh, I was a black woman and I was a slave, or I was African, I was an Indian. So when you start to remember that you could be anybody, gender or race or religions, you cannot you cannot be different with other people. Like everybody's you in a way. It's like I was one of them one time. So how you can think that they are different from you? Makes sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Everybody in this world is connected through an
Yeah,
like an interdimensional twine that goes between all of us.
exactly. So imagine people that have problem with a different race or different religions, figuring out when we do some past regression that
Yeah,
they were one of them. Can you believe it? Or
I could believe it.
yeah, it can be very traumatic, what I'm saying, can really change their life, or they can deny, of course,
Well,
because,
yeah.
you know, but imagine a man that treated women like, oh, they are nothing. And he found out that it was a woman in another lifetime. eh, like, can you believe it? Like, what kind of shock they could have?
Well, that actually then you could actually make more sense to him, because you could say, okay, you were a woman back then. You were probably scorned by all these men, and now that you're a man, you're taking it out like they were on you.
Yes. So it's why
Huh.
uh, it could be interesting to see this in some situation, because and again, if people start to realize, oh my gosh, past life really exists, and by the way, the terminology we use a past life because we still live in this 3D where linear time is what we use.
Yeah. It's
But the
what we
truth,
can describe time as right now.
yeah, but everything is circular, remember. And so everything's happening right now. Any lifetime we live, it's happening right now. It's
Yeah.
just easy to say past because people can grasp better but the information, but truly everything's happening right now. So when you change something in this lifetime, you are affecting many other parts of you.
Yeah.
And so when I'm working on people, I notice there's some kind of loop, and they repeat and they repeat and they repeat. And it's amazing to see this, because sometimes it's asking, oh, you are just talking about my relationship with my wife in this lifetime. Say, no, I'm talking another lifetime. So it means that probably they have challenged to figuring out something, and they are back again in the
Yep.
same situation.
I was just about to say that too. It's like a rotating wheel. If you don't learn the lesson you're supposed to learn, you don't get off.
Yes.
Huh.
So
That's a pretty good analogy.
yeah, so what I noticed, and it truly is when I was young, I could not figure out center relationship, because of course you don't know. You
Mhm.
live at the moment, you think it's based on what we are today. But when I found out that my mom and I, we have many lifetime, but one, I was her husband and she was my wife in Spain. So she chose to give me a Spanish name, by the way. Okay. And we are Italians. Consuelo was a very unusual name. I was one of the only in the city with this name. I'm not kidding.
Oh,
So
wow.
what's happened is she was my wife, and we love each other passionately. We are just two, we have this lovely farm and we live, we have no children. And when she died, I remember to say to her, I wish to see you again, and I never stop to love you. So when I was born, my mom, she always felt that I was unique. She said,
Okay.
from the day I found out that I was pregnant of you, I felt that you were unique. And I was singing, I was so happy to have you in my belly.
Aw.
And she said this to me. And I thought, okay, I was the first child. So I thought maybe because I was the first child, and my brother arrived 1 year after. But the truth is, when my father died and I was only 2 years old, she started to talk to me like I was her partner. And
Okay.
now when I saw this lifetime, I said, oh, now I know why. Because I was her husband. So when she lost her husband, my father, in this lifetime,
Yep.
without automatically, she went to me because I was the most close in some kind of other reality to her husband. So I'm telling you, I felt like I was her partner for all my life. Also, when I was a little child, she was telling me stuff like, talking like I was an adult. And now I know why.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, but with all these memories and everything, are you able to validate anything right now? Like, have you went back and said, "Hey, there's the house I lived in right there. Like, that's it."
Oh, yes. Sometimes I have many deja vu when I was young, many that I cannot figure out why. Many, you have no idea. Besides premonition dreams, sometimes I was I was passing some place and say, I know this place. I know exactly. So it's happened in Paris. Years ago, I went to Paris because I always want to be going Paris for when I was 17 years old. I learned French as a second language for me. I don't know. I felt I'm gonna marry a French guy. I'm gonna adopt in children. I'm gonna live in France. So this was my idea. It
Yeah.
never happened. So every time I tried to go to Paris, never happened. It's like I was sabotaging myself, and I felt that if I go to Paris, I never come back because I will feel in love. So finally, I'm ready living in United States. My friends is telling me we need to go to Paris to make a grid in the Eiffel Tower. She said because very spirit tell us that we need to do this stuff. So I said okay to shift energy in Europe. I said okay.
Yeah.
And so I was planning ready to go to Italy. So we decided to go to Italy and from there to go for a long weekend in Paris with my two friends, one American, one Italian. We went there. And the funny part is they decided to go to Montmartre. And I, for some reason, I need to stay in my hotel a little longer for some reason. I don't remember what I finished, maybe some email, something. So I decided to follow them after. So I took my metro, and for mistake, I went out the exit before Montmartre. And I thought, oh, okay, but I can walk by. So I thought, okay.
Yeah.
As soon as I walked by, I saw this church that was built in 1915, something
Yeah.
like that, 1905, something at the beginning of 900. And I saw this church. I know this church. And I said, how do I know this church? So I went inside. I see this black Madonna with a baby. I said, oh my gosh, I know this black Madonna. Is that in that corner? I found that my bench. Really, I found like, this is my bench. I came here every day to pray. And I thought, I look around and said, how can it be possible? So I have a memory of me, a writer, a woman in the 20s, be a Parisian woman. I have this memory. But I never realized that it was in that area. In fact, I found out that this was an area where a lot of artists were living in the area, by the way. I
Yeah.
remember I had this lovely cottage, and I was my typewriter, but I was in front of my bay window, and I was seeing people passing by. And I fell in love with another man, but he was a writer. He was writing a journal. He was also a teacher, very activist. So the German arrived. He became one of the, rebellion. Kind of, he decided to go back to the partisan. And I was helping Jewish people to hide and to take him away. So this was my life there. And every day I was going to the church that was close to my house to pray for him because I miss his information. In fact, he died after. And, but I cannot figure out. So when I was there, I was in tears, like everything came back to me. The sadness, the pray, the hope, the sense of not power, because you are in the kind of period where you don't know what's going to happen next. And everything, in a moment, like a wave of emotion. And sitting on this bench, I look around. Part of me felt happy to find this place again, but part of me felt so sad. And we're like, wow, in 2 seconds. So it's happened. So yes, not many times, but it was amazing.
That's pretty cool. I mean, especially like seeing the same places. You're like, oh my God, there it is.
I know. So
I can only imagine like the memories going through your minds or the emotion going through your head. Like I was just okay. Like wow.
I know it's amazing. So when people say, I would love to be like you, I say, it's not so easy because first of all, you need to learn to be very open to see everything without judgment.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to drive you totally nuts. And so, you need to be good to yourself, and you need to accept that you're supposed to, you have many lifetimes, you did a lot of stuff, and not always was good. Okay. So when you reach the point of upsetting everything comes to you and say, okay, I did it. It's okay. I'm letting go. You can do it. But otherwise, be careful.
Yeah. So what led you to train in quantum healing hypnosis and rapid transformational therapy?
So when I moved from Italy, around my age was 39, I moved here because my spirit said, we prepare you all your life to move to United States. And I said, I studied English, French, no English. What is going on? And, the truth is, if I have a full knowledge of a language, I will continue to work in the same way that I was working in Italy. I was human resource trainer, very intuitive. I was helping manager to manage other managers, so teamwork, public speaker. So I was this kind of person. If I knew so well to speak English, I will continue to do the same. But
Yeah.
no, the idea is if you don't know the language, you're going to end up to be more inside of yourself, and you're going to reach for people that like a new age people that do meditation, they are more patient, they're going to help you and they're going to support you, and always happen. So after a while I was here, I started to create my karmic release, because for me, when I was 15, it was easy. I have a friend tell me, can you tell me more about my lifetime? I was closing my eyes, I was going out of my body for a second. I don't know, I was going to this big library. After I found out I was a Akashic record, I have no name. I was going there without
Yeah.
any guard, no code. Nobody was telling me anything. I was go straight there, pick up
Hmm.
the information like a file, come back and say, nope, we are only a few lives together, nothing important. So this was me.
Oh,
So when I
wow.
finally came back, arrived here at the age of 39, and said, you know what? I can use this gift in certain way, because I use it, but more like a, not to have a fun, but like a side way, like
Yeah.
sometimes just to have a more enjoy more relationship with boyfriend or private people. But that is you know what? Because also I start to do polarity is a something that I become practitioner, so I can touch people, and finally I created my karmic list where I was able to see this and telling people stuff and clear, because I don't do just a reading. I also clear emotion and trauma, okay? Because I
Okay.
call all my ETs and archangels and whatever. Everybody is like a party sometimes. I have so many beings in my room when I do stuff. It is amazing. So we clear stuff, because after I say something to you, yes, you become more conscious, but you ask me, now what are we going to do? So I want to help you. So I clear any emotional cord, I clear any trauma from the person. And so after I was doing this work with a lot of clients, some of them, they start to look at me and say, oh, I would love to see like you see, I would love to be with one, see what you described to me. I thought,
Yeah.
okay, let me look around. Is why I ended up to do the QHHT with Dolores, because more I was reading about Dolores when I was studying her, more like, okay, it's the same. She called they, and I call my spirit guide they too. And instead of it be me, she asked the client to talk. Normally, it's me talking. So I thought this was so amazing to be so similar, because sometimes I receive a message from a higher self or the spirit guide from the client. So she was asking the person to receive a message from the higher self. So it blends so well with what I'm doing, but I
Okay.
decided to do it more. And truly, I saw people having incredible shift of energy, when when allow themselves to be relaxed, because how we try to control. Okay.
Yeah, well, humans try to control every aspect of their own lives and that
Exactly.
of lives around them in
Yes.
certain situations.
So, and is why I started to create this. And also, I decided to do also RTT, that is with Marisa Peer, that is about hypnosis, where I help you to clear maybe you have some beliefs that don't work anymore, or you want to manage better your weight because you start to feel like that you don't have bad habits about eating, or any kind of situation, and I give you something to listen every day for a month, 10 minutes of recording. But what is
Yeah.
funny is people that come to me most of the time, not only they go as another lifetime. It's funny because with Marisa Peer, you're supposed to be in this reality
Yeah.
and look for what is the reason why I'm doing this, why I'm having low self-esteem, why I have some anger issues, so or why I smoke a cigarette. And a lot of time, my client they go in another lifetime. I don't know if it's because of me, but a lot of time they go in another lifetime and we find out, oh, you have done this. And so we find out, oh, is why in this lifetime I'm having this problem. So it's pretty amazing, because I think that, okay, so a few weeks ago, one of my clients, she want to she's feeling that she's become a little too fatty, she's eating too much, bad habits. So, and she wants to change this. She's like, it's time for me to be more slim, to be more in charge of my body. I don't say losing, because losing weight is for loser, Marisa per se. So it's okay. You don't
Yeah.
want to lose weight. You want to manage weight. So she wants to manage her weight. And so she ended up to see two other lifetime, when one, she was starved. She was starving. And
Oh
another one, she feel like, I need to, in order to feel busy and rich, she was having so much food. So she was eating always, constantly, because it was a way to say, I am rich, I have abundance, look at me, look at my body. So
yeah.
for two different reasons, she noticed that she had this imbalance about this relation with her body and with the food.
Okay.
Beside this lifetime, because she's from East Country, where she remembered when she was very little, they have no food in the table. And
Okay.
so, and when they have food, they feel like, I need to have more, because they feel
Yep.
like, I don't know tomorrow what's going to happen. You see? So it was very interesting to see the parallel between the other two lifetime and this childhood that she has. So, and this helped her to realize how much is more about your mind telling you what is right or wrong, that really needed from your body.
Okay. I got you. So
Food
you
is sorry, go ahead.
no, no, go ahead. So you said about food. Food is like the engine, or food is the fuel to the engine.
I think we eat because our emotions.
Okay.
Most of the time, I'm true. I did a particular retreat where you learn to be 4 days without food and water, and I was successful, and I have no problem. And for a couple of months, I was just having some liquid diet, and I was doing fine. The only thing, I didn't like myself because I was very, very skinny. I'm not a
Okay.
big woman already, so imagine. So and truly, I know if I wait a little longer, probably my body would find the balance. But I during Christmas, it's hard to say no. So I end up to start to eat more. But what I'm saying is, I realized that a lot of the time, the only food that it came to my mind was not the food that my body needs really, but the food was connected to emotions. Like,
Okay.
for example, focaccia. I love focaccia, the Italian one, the very soft with a little oil, because my mom and my brother, we went to the holidays in summertime in this lovely beach, and before we arrived to the beach from the hotel, we passed in this bakery and we pick up the focaccia every morning. And so I enjoyed to eat my focaccia when I was working with my mom, my brother. We were so happy. It was a beautiful time. So I don't eat the focaccia, but sometimes I reconnect to this memory.
Hmm.
And it's happened to me also one time with a piece of bread. Kamut is a flour, but one day I decided to make this bread. I have no idea how I did it, but I did it. And as soon as I put that first bite, I was in Egypt in the street. I was a young man in ancient times. I thought, oh, shoot, I have a session in half an hour. I cannot do this now. This was me like putting the piece of bread down because no, 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 no. I don't have a time now. It was so funny. But see, food carries memory also. It's not just from this lifetime, but for other lifetime.
See, I had my favorite food was always I can't remember the name of it now for the life of me because now I have to remember it.
Okay.
But it was I used to be deployed to Germany with the army,
Oh,
and it was right outside of Hanau. And we had this little stand that was out there, and they had this rotating meat, and they would slice it off and they'd put it in this bun and everything. And it was, oh my God, but the sauce that they used in Germany is what just blew it away. And I just, wow, like, yeah, you're right. Like food
yeah.
has a lot of memory associated with it.
And I have a feeling that you probably carry the memory from another lifetime. I'm pretty sure. I don't know why, but I see you World War II as a pilot. I don't know if you like to pilot, but I feel like see like you as a pilot. And
I tried to become a pilot in the army, but I had
see,
bad vision.
see,
Yep, they put me.
I can see you be a pilot in war in the army in World War II. I'm not kidding. So, oh
I
wow,
can.
okay.
Hey, I mean, it also does it also run in the family, kind of like if you're military families, is it like mostly is that other timelines or other instances where you could have been in your lifetime?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
But you see, we choose also the family that we like for some reason. So you choose your parents because they carry a particular memory as a generation and generation. So
Yep.
we are more complex than we realize. So sometimes we choose that particular family, the particular city, the particular situation, because they carry something that we can use again
Okay.
in some way, or maybe we feel more comfortable with. So there is so much going on in
Oh
people.
yeah. And you had mentioned now you mentioned seeing the multidimensional beings,
Yes.
during your sessions.
Yes.
That's incredible. That really is. And I've had I've had probably one experience which it was neither good nor bad, because I can't label it as either, because I didn't stick around long enough to figure it out.
Okay.
But there was many experiences in my life, and when I was abducted by a living spaceship, when I was 16, and I felt the empathy, the moral values, or what I felt from like this higher intelligence is what I felt. That's what I feel all the time.
Okay. But
Well, is that kind of like, did you meet these beings along your journey and they stuck around to help you?
okay. What? Okay. Sometimes I think we can see more with our third eye
Okay.
that we realize. Okay. So I don't see it like a physical form like a you and I right now. Okay.
It's like
But I see
energy.
more like a energy ghost, if you want to use this as a terminology. Sometimes they come to me like a light, so I can see the head. So they have this energy that can see the arm, the head. Sometimes
Okay.
it can be blue or can be white, can be gold. Sometimes they want to be seen, so they are coming and they look really like a people. I can describe completely the dress, the face, how they look like.
Wow.
Okay. But I do the same also with ancestors. Sometimes I have a Native American coming. So it's not just about, so everything that is energy, it want to be represented or be expressed. It shows up in my session. So they sometimes they tell me they want to be described to my clients. So I describe to my clients. Sometimes they're carrying gift.
So
Sometimes
like
they carry
they like bring rolls
message.
and messages and stuff. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that's what I was
Sometimes
gonna
they carry
say.
messages. So for what I recall, I sometimes I felt them around me. I can feel them around me sometimes. Sometimes I can feel my room is so full. In fact, my ex-husband was telling me sometimes, there is a lot of fogginess in the room downstairs. Or, I can see, to me, when you say so, it means that there are a lot of people around.
Yeah.
In fact, one time I was going downstairs in my healing room, but I have a separate entrance, so, but it's for downstairs. And one time I went downstairs because it takes me out to the garage where they have some water that I need to pick up. I went downstairs one day and I feel like everybody was turning, like, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. And I thought, okay, I turned on myself and said, okay, and I went upstairs. My husband said, what about water? Oh, we can have something else today because it's better. I felt like, but I thought, come on, guys, I pay for this house. Are you kidding me? So, but I felt that I was not welcome for a moment. Okay. So,
Okay.
and this is telling you sometimes you can feel it. You maybe don't have exactly the face, but you feel this kind of, okay, this is not the right place. So there's a lot of feelings about it. And so um, sometimes they came in my dream. I dream, and sometimes that it's not a dream. It's more about a traveling outside your body. You go out, you have this experience where because all of us, we travel, by the way, all of us. Okay. In fact, I have some of my clients telling me that after they book a session with me, they feel much better, or is it just booking a session without doing the session. Okay. And when it's time to have a session, I say, what is going on? I kind of don't have a problem anymore. They say, I'm not kidding. It's happened so many times. In particular,
Wow.
when I have to do with autistic children, because they start to connect to me. As soon as the parents book the session, I can tell you, they connect to me. So, and it's so funny because we work at night a lot of time. And so it's where I know that they're coming to support me more beside my session. And
Yeah.
I am part of them and they are part of me. So morning I wake up with this idea that I travel. Sometimes I remember something briefly, sometimes, but it's why. And sometimes I see them during my session. I see some blue beings, for example. And finally, a lot of time I have blue beings, very tall, like a humanoid, beautiful. By the way, some they look like a bird, some were not, some were more like the avian. I know they are called avian, and I have a lion people. I call it the past cats. So there are different way to call them from Lyra. And
Yeah.
but I have also Lord Ganesh shows up, Sai Baba shows up, Jesus, Mary. It depends. So I don't have any limits in what I love to receive and see. Okay.
Okay.
And because to me, I saw also beings that are black and brown, but doesn't mean they're bad people because, again, and they told me we are grounding certain energy. So we have this color because we represent the grounding energy. So again, if you don't have any kind of judgment or anticipation, they show in the way they want to be seen. Make
Okay.
sense? In
Makes
fact,
a lot of sense.
when I moved from Italy to United States, and I was connecting more with ascended masters at the time. Now I work with everybody, but at the time was mostly ascended master. I said, okay, guys, you send me here. What is going on here? So I say, okay, at least let me see you. So they start to tell me, we when I show to you, no as a blue eyes, blonde as a Jesus, but we want to show you as an energy, to you as energy. So this is one of the book that is in Amazon. So this is Saint Germain.
Okay.
Okay. The way we want to be seen, it was like this. And I found out that other people see him as a Saint Germain in this way. This was El Moria, like a water wash out. And so if you look at them, Kutumi, Lord Kutumi, so they want to be seen as an energy because they say it's time that the people come out of the idea of labeling with their mind. They need to have a head, arms, blonde, blue eyes, So
Yeah.
so this is Seraphim Bay, and there are many more. So look, this is Hilarion. So you see, all of them, they are different.
Yeah.
And because the idea is really about okay, this is Jesus. Okay, you see the heart.
Ah.
So they say because Jesus carrying this unconditional love, the compassion of the heart. So, and again, but it's funny because I have people tell me after they purchased my book that they felt that they saw these images in their dream on the meditation, and they represent exactly what I represented. And I was surprised because I have no idea. Okay.
Yeah.
So because I thought, okay, I just wrote, I painted them. And so I want to show you something else. This is Niklaus the flu. And is the one Lord, when they were sending master, I help you to find the middle way. So you see, all of them. So what I'm saying, and this is Buddha, by the way, this is Buddha.
Okay.
This is my Buddha. So again, when you start to be more open to see them, they can be orbs of light. They can be in any shape or form because when they are above the 12th dimension, they don't have any body. So, and when they come to help us for sessions, like the author or any other, because I have many others coming, they are just energy. And they told me one thing that is very important, what they know and we need to learn to be part of the collective,
Okay.
but be individual at the same time. So you don't need to lose your identity, but at the same time, you can connect with everybody. And so they telepathically connect and they don't have anything to hide. But each of them, they have their own personality and they contribute to each other's, helping to see in a different way everything. So this is part of individuality, not as an ego, but as a way to see things from a different perspective, because everybody has their own way to see them. Make sense?
Makes a lot of sense. And I actually have um, a couple photos to show you because my parents were outside their house in California and were taking photos, and they were getting light.
Oh, oh,
They were
wow.
getting light beings that were just coming in.
Mhm.
And this is when it started. Like they saw this, and it was almost like a boomerang type vehicle or something with a greenish light on the bottom. But after this thing left the area or blinked out,
Mhm.
these started to show up
Wow.
everywhere in the sky. Like I have hundreds of these pictures, but that's that was actually outside of Crescent City, California, near
Uh,
Oregon.
what it comes to me right now, I don't know, but I feel like they are cleaning. They were cleaning the energy. They're cleaning the sky for pollution. They're cleaning for pollution. So it's what that comes to me right now. They are clearing pollution in the
That's
sky.
what I'm thinking too.
Okay, see, I
Like,
felt
yeah,
this.
like they and them cleaning up the stuff in the sky is making, like, it could make different colors as well
Yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think that they are clearing, but yeah. So, and I'm telling you, I never. Okay, not never. At the beginner, I was having a time to figure out because I moved from Milan to Chicago. It's okay, and Chicago to Dayton, Ohio, and thought,
Yeah,
you know, come on, I can see myself in Colorado. I can see myself
yeah.
in California, Dayton, Ohio. And so my spirit say, if you are the light, you need to be in the dark. Otherwise, how you can be a light? How you are a light? And I thought,
Okay.
thank you is a punishment and also compliments at the same time. Okay, thank you. And also they told me that Ohio is the heart of United States. So it's why there are so many healers here, because every
Okay.
time we do some healing here is vibrate in all the United States. And I thought, okay, in a way it makes sense.
It's like throwing a rock into a pond and you see the ripples come out from it in the middle.
Yes. So, and I also probably half an hour, 40 minutes from the military base, that is one of the biggest one,
Yep.
by the way. And there are many, many layers under.
Oh, many.
And, I have one of my clients, her daughter, she's very intuitive. And when she moved here, she used to go, out of her body and travel,
Yeah.
astral travel. And she was able to go inside there for
Mm.
one night because we were doing some maintenance. She found out we were doing some maintenance. So she saw a female woman in this cage above, very above, and other different beings, humans or less hybrid people, keep it
Huh.
in a cage for experiment. And this woman, this being, told her, "You're able to see us because they are doing maintenance one time a year for very few minutes. They
Huh.
take off a grid that is shield us, so nobody can know that we are here. Nobody can communicate with
Yeah.
us." And as soon as she finished this, she was out. She could not stay anymore because it was impossible, and she could never come back.
They
She said,
pushed her out.
"So." This is telling you what's going on around here.
Oof. That's some
Mhm.
pretty dark stuff though. It's like, I mean, but
Yeah.
how do you help clients integrate these kinds of, like, high vibrational encounters? Like,
Uh, I call my beings, I call their beings. And so I believe that, we are fragment of our higher self. Okay. We're
okay.
just not, you and I, we are soul, but soul fragment. Okay.
Yeah.
Of many parts of us. So what I do, I connect to the higher self and my higher self, and we are working together in helping this blending and adjusting. So, and I sometimes have a group. It's funny because I see team of beings coming and look like a technical beings. They are not. They don't belong to my group, to me or
Yeah.
the client, but they're coming. They do the business. They do stuff, and they're leaving without saying words. Sometimes it's so funny. Without saying words, they do this, okay?
Oh,
And so
wow.
every time there are beings that connect to the client, they say that they have a lifetime together in other planets. They talk about it. They are warrior together. They may be husband and wife, or for many reasons, or they're coming to because the clients have done so much for the collective in another planet, and they protect them. So it's amazing. So sometimes they work and they do help. Some they decide that they are going to be around my client for a long time, and so I
Okay.
discuss some of the spirit guides. So there are many. So it's why, but I always, to me, I never say no to when people say, "Can you do this?" I say, "I don't know. Let me try," because
Yeah.
we never know. And so sometimes I'm very surprised when I see certain being coming. So I make an example. Um, Years ago, this Russian client, she asked me to work on her mother, and by distance. So I never met her mom,
Yeah.
but she's old lady, nice, and she say, my mom, I would love to help her to be more conscious about herself. So I opened the session. I start to work on this woman. I'm recording everything, and I start to work on this woman. And suddenly I see this white light, like a pilot, like a Star Trek when you are beam up, beam down.
Yeah.
I saw this light coming down, and I thought, oh, you receive this. And I was telling my client, your mom receiving this beautiful light, white light from the universe coming down to energize her. Shoot, I saw 3 grays, very tall, shows up, and I thought, this was me, like, what? You know, so I thought, okay.
Oh boy.
I thought, what gonna do? So I called my speaker. I said, okay, guys, I need help, protection, whatever it is. I don't know what to do. And they say, just stay. So they didn't look at me and they give me the bag. They don't want to show me anything. But what my spirit guide told me, they were coming to take off some implants that they put in this woman many years ago. And they're not happy about me, kind of pissed about me, because the way that they do session, I didn't know that I was doing this. So I say the way we do session is part of the higher self of a person. So when you connect to the higher self asks to be released by this implant, and for the free will, they need to come and take off these implants.
Okay.
And they didn't show me what they did it. So they did it and they left. And I asked, okay, this woman would be okay with implants or not? They say, yes, it's like a cow. You put some chip, microchip, something. So she will survive. No big deal. So like, okay, thank you for being so kind. So when they left, I was pretty shocked. I was really shaking because I didn't expect this, okay? And I closed the session and I finished my session. I was like, what just happened? So this woman, she had pneumonia after I did the session. So for a week or 2, she was so sick in her lungs, and she was okay after. So
I'm glad she was okay after.
yes. So a month later, it's happened the same with another client. So I realized that I need to harmonize. They don't care. They don't harmonize. They take off stuff and it's up to you, because it happened to the same client, another client, something similar. So I decided, okay, I'm going to harmonize after they take off the implant because they don't care about, so I harmonize energetically. But coming back to the Russian woman, she was working as a secretary of the Gorbachev government.
Oh, wow.
And they told me, I asked my spirit guide why this happened to her. They say she was not an important person, but put the monitor inside of her. They can monitor everything that she was writing or sending out or in. They have this kind of way to see everything through her and monitor everything was going on in Russia during Gorbachev time. So they used this secretary, but she was nobody, but she was able to see all of the stuff around. And it's why, because I asked why she had this implant. Say, because they will monitor everything in Russia at that time.
Okay.
So now she's retired. She moved to the United States because her daughter was living here with her husband. So it was not necessary anymore for them.
Okay. Wow. Gorbachev.
Right?
That's something. Like they go after the top people to just keep an eye out.
Yeah. I was pretty shocked.
Well, I mean, it would shock me, but it wouldn't surprise me because Gorbachev and you had, there was probably people in the US government. There was probably people in China that at the same time,
Yeah.
because everybody that had any kind of advanced knowledge of them or weapons that they could use, or technology, you never know.
Yeah.
Because I was told that, a couple of the flying saucers or a couple of flying craft were intact completely, 100%. Like they were just in the ground and they dug them up archaeologically, and that's where they found these bones and samples and technology, pretty much fiber optics and everything came from this. But how does quantum healing work though, from your perspective?
To me, I think with Dolores Cannon was magic, and I believe that she was more of what she said between you and I, and so I believe that she was one of the golden master, because I asked, like Einstein, Tesla, she was one of them, and she came as a little old lady, wife of a military guy, very retired or whatever, but she did what she needed to do after her husband died. She was more in charge of her life. So so I think that through her, she opened to a different level, because she was able to work with people who have addiction. So and explain more. In fact, she wrote probably 30, I don't know, 30 books at least. I don't know. I didn't count them, but at least, And so I think the quantum that she does, the way that she does, because she was very inquisitive. She always asked a lot of questions. And, she was some subject, that very good subject in her book. And I believe that more and more she was attracting the right people, that they have some experience, they went through some kind of situation. And so she was able to manage more and more. But quantum is very powerful, because if you are, if you really relax and you are allowed, you can go many places, like I do, but without hypnosis. But if you decide, okay, I'm gonna have some fun, let me see what's happening, you can really have some fun. I have clients enjoy so much. But what is interesting after, it's interesting to see them, because they shift. And one thing that I like about the Dolores Cannon technique is I always taking the person to the last day of your life, unless it's the present one, of course.
Yeah.
But and so it's so beautiful, because more I'm taking people to that moment, more they're leaving their body. And it's nice because they can see their family around. They can also have see if they live a full life or have any regrets. And so it's very, very touching, very important. And when they finally leave the body, they can experience this stuff. It's like dying, leaving the body, no pain anymore. Be happy without body, you feel completely lighter. And everybody have a different experience. I have one guy when he was sitting on the coffee table waiting for his time, like for another lifetime. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" So like a bar, So I have another lady where she was a ball of light jumping from one station to another, and she was so happy. She said, "I'm flying, I'm so happy." And everybody, some have angels, some have God or Jesus coming. So everybody's different. But what I like is everybody felt that death and life is just a transition. It's never ending. The soul is eternal. So you're not dying, really.
Yeah.
And this is the power that don't want us to have, because if we're not afraid to die, how government can have power on us?
Yeah. That's very true, because then we just know we're going to be back in the next lifetime to learn it all over again if we didn't learn it this time. It's a cycle of life. Death, rebirth, and, living.
So it's why, to me, quantum healing is very well done, because she also realized how to put together. And plus, you can ask your higher self questions, and your higher self can answer you back nicely or not. I have a couple of clients that higher self was a little not mad, but no, it was very strong on them, like a move your fat butt, and and it's time for you to realize who you are. So very strong. But besides this, and sometimes they're very nice, but it's nice because you connect to this part of yourself. And I have a feeling after you start to do session with me, my karmic or my quantum, it's like to me that a person say yes to connect to the deepest part of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like open a free way. You become more aware. You become more open. It's like give yourself a permission to connect to a certain part of yourself. It's what I'm feeling.
Okay.
A lot of my clients. Make sense?
It makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense because now when you do this and you have like these experiences with your client, you're experiencing it with them, like pretty much. And that's got to be hard to take in as well. Like sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so good, and you're like, and you have to tell them.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, like, have you ever came up to a spot where you were like, do you really want to hear this?
I always put this intention when I start the session that I'm going to see and going to say only what is necessary and my client is ready to receive or hear or listen. A couple of times I saw things that I was not
they weren't
sure.
ready to hear yet.
Yeah, I thought I'm not sure. In fact, one time I have this girl, she was too young probably to hear this information.
Okay.
She has some problem about eating, so she need to eat every 10 minutes. I'm not kidding. Every 10 minutes she need to eat something. She's not big, but she need to eat continuously, like a nervous habit.
Yeah.
And she felt like something was wrong with her, and they cannot figure out what was wrong. So when I saw a lifetime she was with her family, they were put in a kind of tower and they locked in this tower. And they ended up to eat each other's, then other member of the family died. She ended up to eat all of them to survive.
Oh.
And this was something that it shocked me to tell her, but I felt that need to tell her. And of course, she never come back. I knew
Oh,
already,
yeah.
but I thought she need to be more conscious that this need, and it was about sense of guilty and the sense that it was a combination of many emotions, and to share with her, say probably you're going to understand more about that you don't need to do this, but it's a way to punish yourself and you feel guilty and you feel emotion, and and she told me that when she was more emotional she needs more. So I thought maybe it's going to help her. I never heard about her and felt sorry about it. So this was one of them. Not many times, so it happened 2 times in.
Yeah, well, I mean,
but I need to say something that I know it, but it will not be good. But they say she to hear it. Who knows? Maybe in 5 years she will be better. I don't know, but what I'm saying.
At that time, she wasn't ready to hear it, and yeah, I mean, obviously she ran. You haven't heard from her since, but maybe when later on she'll think about it and she'll be like, wow, she was right. Or that was right.
But it's happened also with autistic children, the parents. Sometimes, I work with autistic children and parents for many years because I can be telepathically with them, connect, and so I can tell parents stuff. But and sometimes I know it's not easy. But when I do a session with a child, I always promise the child I'm going to be true, and if I want me to say something to the parents, I'm going to say it. And so this is the tough part because some parents are not ready to listen. Sorry. So I have this moment sometimes. In fact, I wrote a book that you can find in Amazon again. Is about autistic children and different case story about, schizophrenic children, autistic or ADD teenagers. And so you can find again in Amazon. And I have some cases that are very successful. Other that I saw big changes in the children. But I believe that parents are not ready for the children's success.
Okay.
Remember, sometimes you live for many years with a child that needs you so much. Then when a child become more independent, you're missing this part.
Yeah.
You feel less important or less useful without, not in a bad way, but without knowing. I noticed that, like one time I helped this girl, but she never slept, never. An hour, 2 hours. Parents taking turn during the day, the time, because she was going to the door and leaving. So she was
Hmm.
autistic. And finally, I help her. I started to tell her, that there are dreams. You can dream. I say, and I say, if you are rest more, you can go shopping at the mall. So this mind to mind, I was telling her, show her she can go to the mall, buy new stuff, be so
Yeah.
happy, da da da. So this was the idea. I say, why you don't try tonight for a week to sleep 7 hours, like 6 to 7 hours? I will be okay. She did it.
Hmm.
For a week, she fell asleep for 7 hours, and she was better and better, to the point where parents say, she's going to say to us, night, night, and she go to bed alone. You didn't say anything to her.
Oh, wow.
And she say, I found a dream, and I love to dream.
You opened up a whole new world to her.
Thank you. My mama say, I miss my baby in the beds with me now.
Oh,
Come
see,
on.
you can't get both. You can't get it both
You
ways.
see, and she's 10 years old.
Yeah,
She's supposed to be in her own bed and
right.
be more independent. So you can also sleep too and rest more, because the parents are so close to separate, because it was so hard for both of them to keep up with the situation. So can you see the improvement?
Yeah,
So you see my point?
yeah,
And so sometimes it's not easy, because your child is changing, and sometimes the child was telling me, oh, I do this, I throw my head on the wall, I put my head on the wall, because my parents start to argument, and I'm afraid we're going to kill each other's, and so I
mm,
want to take the attention from them to me, so I do this, and I hurt myself. So good luck to tell his parents.
yeah.
You see my point?
That's part of like different things though that are out there. Like if a parent doesn't, show enough emotion or show enough attention to the child will act out to, you
Yeah.
know, to get the attention.
So I have a very successful story where parents are wonderful people. They want to do session with me, and I see incredible change in the children. Is amazing. And the other where I give up in a way, say, okay, I cannot, because to me, when I promise something to a child, I keep my promise.
Yeah.
So if I cannot do it, I don't do session anymore. As I few clients say, I'm sorry, I cannot help you anymore. Unless you start to have a session with me or go to talk to a counselor, a psychologist. Doesn't matter, doesn't need to be me. But unless you do this, I cannot work with you. And so now I use the parents instead of the child. So in this way, I'm sure that the parents receive a session, and I
Yeah.
receive the child through the parents. So I changed my way to work with them.
Hey, I mean it works in a way for you, and for
Yeah.
them at the same time. They get a little bit of information as well too.
But I can tell you, one time I have this lovely girl, beautiful, beautiful girl, autistic. And she was very drained to me. I remember one time I was at IKEA, a park, and she ran to me, and mom said, and she saw my time, one time said, oh, my girl loves you. I said, okay. And she came for a session one time, and oh my gosh, when she connected to me soul to soul, I felt like I was connected to God. I'm not kidding.
Oh
The
wow.
energy of this girl was like a cherubim, or I don't know, angel. I don't know. It was impossible to stay in this energy for more than 1 minute or two. I'm not kidding. In fact, she opened up to show us. I said, I'm going to show you who I am. She said to me, and she opened up for 1 minute, maybe. I don't think it was 1 minute. And she closed because it was so intense, but that cannot stay in the energy. So I was like, okay.
Huh.
And she say, I'm not ready to become what my mom want to become, a human, because I still integrated this energy in my body.
Okay.
So it's why I'm autistic. And she say, tell my mom, don't pressure me. Don't pressure me to do this. So I closed the session. I talked to my mom and she said, thank you for saying this finally, because everybody was blaming me, but I was not good enough. I was not doing stuff
Yeah.
enough. And this woman, she was part of a church. She was a singer, she enjoyed with these people from the church. I don't know which church was. So, and they went to Tibet to do this singing kind of group. And
Yeah.
this was a time where she connected to this energy of these beings. So
Ooh.
she had 6 or 7 miscarriage. And finally she got pregnant with this girl. And the girl said to me, it was me preparing my mother every time. Every time I was coming, preparing her womb to my high energy, and coming again until my mom, she was ready to conceive me and have a full pregnancy. And I was ready to be born.
It took a while because of how much the energy was.
So I was like,
Huh.
okay. See, it's amazing how we are so complex.
So
Yes.
how can people better understand their life purpose and their soul mission then?
I think we already know something, because
Okay.
if you pay attention when you are very, very young, you know. I noticed that until the age of 3, when I talk to a client a lot of time, they take me to when they're very young, and I see through their eyes at the age of 2 or 3 what is going on in the family. And a lot of time I see the child say, I am a child and you are not a good parent to me. And
Mm,
so, so they really see this stuff. They are very, very good on what is the right, what is wrong. So I believe that we know already what is the right thing for us to do,
okay.
but we let environment and other people to pressure us and to follow something that maybe is not natural to us. What I'm saying is, when I work with people, a lot of time, um, I see the gift and the quality, and sometimes from our lifetime, or I see ancestor or people beings coming from other places and helping them to be better in their own gift.
I
So
got you.
most of it, not always I need to know what is exactly, but I can tell you that I think a lot of people know already what is really what they can do. But having somebody like me sometimes can help them to have more clarity. And intuitively, I noticed a lot of people changing their life, because in a positive way, because they start to
Yeah.
realize who they really are. So more they have awareness of our lifetime, or as of this lifetime, what is really going on. Uh, I think it helps them to understand more what is really the path that they need to follow.
Okay.
But let me say one thing that is very important. When people receive information by psychic that, oh, you're supposed to be a healer, and they feel guilty about their life because, oh my gosh, I don't know, I may be an engineer, or I may be, I'm a janitor, or I'm a teacher. So I'm wrong. I'm doing wrong. Stop. Be a healer doesn't mean that you need to be using your hands or doing something. Healing can be done through teaching others.
Yep.
Is the intention that you put. You can be a great chef, cooking for other people, and use prana in your energy. When you do with love and intention, you helping awareness in people. You give love. You helping them to heal. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So be careful about the label healing, because it's bigger than we realize. We only think about healer like a doctor, nurse, or shamanic or practitioner. No, 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 no. You can be a mom and be a healer. Make sense?
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense.
And so as people start to realize this, I think they're gonna start to understand, if they do they do a roofing, they're protecting family. They're helping people to have a right roof in the head. So I always say to people, do everything with love, and love what you do. It's the
Yeah.
best way to be a great healer in your life and in everybody's lives, because in a way you impact other people with your, just to be who you are.
Yeah. I understand that now. I understand.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep. So well, when you're doing this work, how do you stay grounded with navigating such high frequency work? Like, you have to ground yourself first before anything.
uh,
And if you're not ready, it could just
yeah, for me, it's easy to be outside my body than inside my body. Okay. So me is the opposite.
Oh,
Sometimes,
okay.
be grounded is something like, sometimes like, oh, really? Do I need to be grounded? You know. So ask my
Or you
clients.
could be like, oh, really? You're gonna ground me? Okay,
Yeah,
just
like,
wait.
okay, so I need to be grounded, really. So I think I found the middle way, and so yes, I think I'm okay with this. What amazed me is when I do a session, I see so many lifetimes, so many information in half an hour, 40 minutes. But of course, if you ask me, if I do 3, 4, 5 sessions in one day, if you ask me what I saw, I don't remember much because I
Yeah.
saw so many things. And it's why sometimes my memory can be funny because I don't remember things sometimes. So the problem is I become very selective what I need to remember, to the point that I see people and I think, oh, and they say, oh, I have a session with you 10 years ago. And think, okay, I don't
Yeah.
have any recollection, not because they're not important, but I have so many faces. And every time
Yeah.
I see other lifetime, I see you different bodies sometimes, different gender. So imagine how many people of you I see when I do a session with you. So it's not just you. Make sense?
Yeah, you see the energies from the past as well coming into the future.
Yeah, so it's like okay, and sometimes it's funny because sometimes it came to me a different name. So sometimes I have one client Italian, and I call her Elena, and her name is totally different. But every time, and now she goes by Elena. I say, oh, I use Elena so many times because you know I thought it suit me well. So okay, because it's Elena. So to me, it's Elena. She have
Yep.
another name, but I can never remember her name. So again, I think because I connect to many lifetime, and so I'm okay because I always come back. I'm fine to coming back. It's easy for me because again, I started when I was 15, so now I'm
Yeah.
pretty old, and it's like I can close my eyes and go and come back. Or you know, sometimes I can see a person and the face change completely and become another person for another lifetime, and the dress change, the clothes changing. Like okay, and it's a flash, a second. Okay, so the time and I blink my eyes is back again, but it's happened a lot of times.
I
So
got you.
I manage better now. Trust me.
Well,
That's
good, good.
yeah.
And these will be the last couple photos I wanted to share here. This is one of them.
Okay.
You can see the little light. It's like a squiggly line in the sky. That's what I call it. It's like a light squiggly line. It's just a
Wow.
light.
Okay.
That's what we keep seeing. Now, this one you won't have to lean in that much for, but let me see which one it is. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
That
Wow.
one. Yeah. Now, let me
This
explain.
this is a portal, right?
Yep.
No, it's a portal. This.
Yes, you are 100% correct. This is a portal opening. We my mother,
Okay.
Angel is her name down here, but I won't say her real name, but Angel,
Okay.
she goes by. She was outside of Crescent City, California, and where she used to live before they moved. They went outside their house and they took these photos
Wow.
overlooking the ocean.
Wow.
And then now here's another one.
Wow.
You
No,
see the
it's a
person.
it's a portal. It's a portal.
There's a person there too.
Yeah, it's too small in this. Yeah,
Let me
but
see if I
I
can
see.
get that bigger for a second here.
Oh,
But then it closes and you see like the little light
wow.
underneath the light. That's a little person there.
Wow.
But let me see if I can bring it up just a little bit bigger here. But yeah, it's really interesting that I'll remove that one, add that one back on, and then I'll show you when I
Yeah, I can see more. Yes, it's better.
yep. And when I sat there and my mother came to me and was like, "You have got to see these photos." I was like, "What am I looking at?" And she's like, "This, you're not going to believe me." And I was like, I don't believe what I'm looking at right now
Mm-hmm.
because I know what it is. I know exactly what this is because, and
Wow.
I don't know how I know. Okay, it's like, okay, past life again,
Yeah.
or something. But let me see here.
Huh.
Here is.
It looks like a one little dot above is waiting for our turn to go through. I don't know. I feel like it is. I don't know. This is me. But
Let me get this one off. All right, then remove, add. There we go.
oh, nice. Oh, okay. Wow. Wow. Interesting.
That is a person with their
Yes.
hands behind their back, holding their legs. They're holding their back legs. They're actually, their shoes are like this. So their legs are back like this, and their shoes are facing upward. And they
Wow.
have white shoes on the bottom. And yeah, my mother took these photos right outside of her house,
Wow.
and they're not photoshopped. They're not,
I imagine.
right at the bottom, you can see where it was shot, when it was shot. It was shot on a Moto
Nice.
G.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, that
Very nice.
that was one of the many strange things that have happened to me. I also work for MUFON as a section state director. So I get into all that creepy stuff,
Mm,
skinwalkers,
I
ghosts,
imagine.
everything. And I'm like,
Imagine.
it all falls into the same category with me.
Mhm.
It's different energies.
I can feel them sometimes. I can feel a spaceship. I'm not kidding. Um, I have one, but it was always in one corner of my backyard. I'm not kidding. I thought, okay, can you show yourself? I never
Yep.
show, but I can feel them. And sometimes they disappear. I don't feel anymore. Sometimes they come back, and they are very benevolent one. And I go there sometimes. They say to me, "It's okay." So I remember one time I was in Sedona for the 10 days transformation for me when I was not eating and drinking, whatever. And so I felt that three of them were located in the top of Sedona. And they say to me they're mix of different races, not just one type. I asked what kind. No, they say we're a mix of different races working together. There's a big meeting here. So the funny part is at the end of the 10 days, our teacher, the guy was organizing the 10 days, he decided to have his psychic online that he can ask them questions.
Yeah.
So one of my questions was if there are any spaceship right now in the top of Sedona, if there are, and if there are, how many? And he said yes, there are three of them. It was so funny because I thought, okay, sometimes you want to, you feel something, but you never know how much is true or not. I thought maybe it's playing my head with, and the guy said, yeah, they are, and there are three of them. And I said, okay, thank you for the confirmation because
Nice.
what I'm saying is I can feel them. It's happened over time, but I can feel them in the space. I don't see them, but I can feel them. Yes. And I think there are many of them around. Many, many, many.
Oh yeah, I believe the same thing. Like I get the same types of feelings sometimes. Oh gosh, it's funny. My girlfriend sat there and she comes up to me and goes, "Look at that. What is that?" And I'm looking outside and I'm like, "Oh wow, there is a ball just floating 100 feet off the ground right outside my house." I'm like, "Huh." I'm like, "That's pretty interesting." And then I videotape it. And then it goes from like, it went from I want to say it went from about 400 feet away. And as soon as I picked up that camera, it was like 2 miles away.
Wow.
And it was stayed there about 2 miles away the whole time. Like, but I had it close up. I've got a 6K HD video camera that I have close up of this orb that's about this big on the screen. That's just like pulsing.
Wow.
And it was so incredible. But it's me, myself, I'm an energy person. I don't know if I'm an energy worker. I haven't figured it out completely because I'm still learning, but mine has always been about energy. I can see people's energies, feel them. I can also control different energies. Like my girlfriend in Texas, we were in a room, probably, regular sized room, of a living room, of a building, or living room of a house. And I said, turn off everything in the house, and it's like 60 degrees outside, 50 degrees, it's getting near winter. I was like, now I'm going to actually, you're going to start sweating. And she said, you're not going to be able to do that. Well, I sat there in the middle of the room. I concentrated very, very hard. And within about 10 minutes, the room itself went up like 12 degrees.
Wow.
And she's there and she's got this little sweat coming down her nose and everything. She's like, how did you do that? And I'm like, I have no idea. I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I see it, I can manipulate it somehow or change it or something. That's all I can fathom that I'm doing.
Yeah. Again, it's about first belief and second using your talent.
Yeah.
I think all of us is why I say I think most of us, we can be self-healing, we can do self-healing, we can heal ourselves. It's just because we don't think it's possible, we do. But again, I believe that you can use this energy as so imagine you are in a situation where you cannot cover yourself and it's cold. You can create this environment where everybody or you can be warm enough to survive. So what I'm saying is it can be used in many ways, and more you are aware of it, more you can use it, So I think it's wonderful.
Oh yeah, my girlfriend used to hate it though. We used to go camping and she's like, I want another tent. And I'm like, why? She goes, because it's 85 degrees outside and it's 102 degrees inside this tent because of you. And I said, well, I can't help that. I'm a hot-bodied person. Like that's, my energy, I guess.
I have the same way. When I was young, my hands were always so hot that if I were putting my hands on the top of somebody, they say, you're burning me. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
So I remember, but that scares some of my other kids at school because they say, oh no, don't touch me. So I felt very uncomfortable.
Yeah, and I'll put my hand, like, I'll be like, okay, I can prove a point to you. And they're like, okay, prove a point to me then. I'm like, I'm going to make your face hot and I'm not even going to touch it. And I'll sit there and I'll just have my hands like very close to them and I can heat their face up.
Yeah, Bismuth, you can be a healer and use the energy in different way because more I learn how to use the energy, I don't need it so much, my hot energy, because I dissipate it. I learn how to integrate it with myself. You see, is why you probably, with the time, I feel like you're going to figure it out. And maybe
I could be able to use these energies to heal as well.
Wow. No doubt. But
well, I mean, the sky's the limit, I guess, when it comes to abilities. But
yes, I would love to talk us about something. I just started last week to organize this retreat. I'm gonna have my first retreat in Ohio.
Nice.
Okay. So, and it's going to be in event in my website. So I will give you all the information. So
Oh, definitely.
if you want to come, I using the cacao, the cocoa, the high grade of cacao as a ceremonial. And it's going to be very good. And we're going to do some past life regression as a group. We're going to connect to the ancients. So this is why I'm going to 3 days with me. It's going to be very powerful. So
Okay.
just in case, I want to say if people want to know more, welcome to check on my website in event. And it's something gonna start. It's gonna be in October, between the 9 and the 12th of October. And so,
I'm excited.
yes, and I decided it's time because I really have a lot of clients tell me that they would love to spend some time with me. So this is the best way to do it.
Now, are you doing it in the woods? Are you all camping? Are you?
We find this lovely cabin, this lovely place where we're gonna have, it's gonna be October. So we have a not too far. There's a lake in front of a lake. So
Okay.
we love it. I love the fact that we have a lake. We can walk outside because I'm gonna use the water. Water carry a lot of good power for emotion. So
Yes.
healing stuff. So we're gonna be in that way and use the cacao every day as a ceremonial. So we can, people can start to learn how to connect to the heart, release. It's gonna be very interesting. And normally when people come to my, all my paintings and everything I do is fast, and I create a change in some people. So I know that people will come to me, they're ready to change, ready to shift, ready to do fast. Otherwise they don't find me. So it's why if you want to come and have some big shift in their life, welcome, because spending 3 days with me, I believe it's gonna see some change in their life,
Some
some
good
transformation.
changes.
Yes. And it's really time because we are to a place where really we become, I don't know if you know, it's more and more telepathically, and we're more people receiving message information. So we are preparing ourselves to be more exactly what I'm saying, to understand more our power and using them.
Yes.
And, because the future is about using sound and energy to heal people. No more surgery, no more stuff. You know that already they found 3 different ways to grow your teeth.
Yeah.
So it's okay because I missed one. I don't want to put implants. And I heard my spirit say, don't worry, it's going to grow back. Say, okay, guys, I'm waiting for it. But I don't know if I need to find a method because I believe so. But whatever is, it was funny because they told me, oh, you don't need to have another implant because I have one and I was so off of my energy for weeks and weeks.
Mhm.
And so, and they said, no, you don't need to have anymore. I said, okay. So I'm waiting for, but you see, I believe that we can do more. We can have so much healing and we can be more powerful.
And finally, let's we can end it with the final question because I told you I was going to get you for an hour and a half.
I know, and I'm surprised, but I love to talk to.
Me too, though. So, final message for everybody. Your final message. What would you give those just starting out on their spiritual journey? What would you tell them as a message?
Do your best to be the true yourself. Start to ask yourself what you really love to do in your life. Is important because this is the engine, this is the power, this is, do something because you love it. It's going to take you to something else maybe, but it's going to start to take you to, and you're going to start to feel different. You're going to start to feel you can be free or you can be happy. And happiness is not a luxury. Happiness needs to be accessible to everybody.
Yeah.
And so when I wake up in the morning, I start to say, thank you for my sheets. Thank you for this bedroom. Thank you for what I have. And if you don't like something, change it. Buy new sheets, or whatever.
Yeah.
What I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So make yourself happy about little thing. And more you going through this process, your energies raise up and you start to feel better. And if you go to a driver to, put a good music, will help you to feel good about yourself. Do your best to be in a positive situation where you can smile more and start to smile to yourself.
Okay.
This is
That's a
the way.
wonderful that's a wonderful message, ma'am. And I believe the same thing. And that's exactly why I started this podcast, because It's more getting people's voices out there. That's what I want to do. I want to get more voices out there that are positive in the world. Flood the airways with positivity, and we won't have any negative thoughts.
I agree. 100%.
Well, thank you for being on here, ma'am. And
Thank you. I really enjoy it.
anytime you want to come back, you're more than welcome. And John, I'm gonna have to thank you after this, John. You know who you are, John. You got us hooked up, so I got to thank him after this. And you have a wonderful evening, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful.
All right, everyone. That was, oh man, that was awesome. We are going to have Consuelo on again because it was just wonderful having her on and having her speak the truth. Like, this is a podcast that is based on everyone here, not me. We are a community, and we will keep building this community and keep moving forward, because what we really want is disclosure. We want disclosure, full disclosure. We want it now. We should have had it years ago. Let's just make it happen, people. All right, guys. Other than that, have a wonderful day, evening, wherever you guys are in the Galactic Family world. And hey, everyone, we got this. We can do this. Please, if you have anything to say, write, subscribe to the channel. We've got podcasts that are coming out that are going to be just incredible. We have a exclusive drop that's coming on from right after Contact in the Desert. A NASA scientist, Brandon Berg, is coming on to drop the juicy secrets that he found out in Contact in the Desert. As always, everyone, love you guys. Have a great one, Galactic Family.